in the sun-scorched heartland of Teso, where termite hills rise like ancient monuments and the wind carries the scent of red earth and roasted millet, there lived a young man named Ekisumo. His presence was soft, like a breeze before a storm. He wasn't a man of many words, but when his fingers touched the strings of the adungu, even the birds paused to listen. He was lean, dark-skinned, and tall, the kind of tall that made shadows stretch long at sunset. His eyes held the calm of a quiet river, but behind them, there was weight. He had grown up in silence. His father, a respected elder, had died when he was only a boy, leaving him to be raised by his older half-brother, Emirate, a man with hands like bark and a voice that cracked like thunder. Emirate was power. He was the one villagers came to when landlines were disputed or when goats went missing in the night. He had the kind of presence that stopped laughter midair. But where Ekisumo had music, Emirate had control. And then there was Akiru. The first time Ekisumo saw her, she was balancing a clay pot on her head, walking along a narrow footpath lined with cassava leaves. Her beauty wasn't loud. It didn't shout. It lingered. Her skin, smooth as river stone, glowed in the setting sun. Her eyes, deep and dark, seemed to be carrying questions she never dared to ask out loud. Their first exchange was just a glance, but in that glance, something unspoken passed between them. A ripple, a shift. She paused. He stopped playing. Then she moved on. From that day, the rhythm of their lives began to align like a quiet song, building into a chorus. They met in stolen moments, by the riverbank, under the mango trees, behind the granary when the moon was kind enough to hide behind clouds. There was no talk of love, only shared silence, laughter, and the kind of eye contact that made time crawl. Ekisumo didn't ask who she belonged to. Akiru never said, but there was something off in the way she always looked over her shoulder. Something haunting in the way she smiled, like someone with a secret sewn into her skin. One evening, under the dull orange glow of a kerosene lantern, Imarut summoned Ekisumo. He poured a calabash of ajon and drank slowly before speaking. Akiru, he said. She's a good wife, obedient, quiet, hard-working. The words struck Ekisumo like cold water. His lips parted, but no sound came. Imarut chuckled. She fears me. That is how a wife should be. Ekisumo nodded, swallowed, and felt something in his chest splinter. Akiru was Emarut's wife, his brother's wife, his blood. That night he couldn't sleep. The bracelet Akiru had woven for him, made from banana fiber and tiny white beads, burned against his skin. He tried to pull it off, but it wouldn't break. It clung like memory, like guilt. Yet even knowing the truth, they couldn't stop. That's when the contradictions began. In public, Akiru walked one step behind Emirate, her face down, her voice soft. But in secret, she danced barefoot in the rain with Ekisumo, laughing like the girl she used to be before her name was changed by marriage. In public, Ekisumo played music for elders and weddings. He bowed, smiled, kept to himself. But in private, his music grew darker, heavier, like a confession played with trembling fingers. The village noticed changes. Elders whispered. Children said they saw Ekisumo and Mama Akiru talking behind the maize store. Emarut began watching. Then, one night, it happened. Ekisumo and Akiru met in the abandoned cattle kraal, hidden by moonless skies. She pressed her forehead to his. Their hands gripped each other as if letting go would kill them. I dream of running, she whispered, of being no one's wife. But Emirate was already there. He stepped out of the shadows, holding his father's old spear. It gleamed in the dark. "Is this what you've been doing?" he asked. His voice was calm, too calm. Neither spoke. Akiru stepped forward, shaking, shielding Ekisumo with her body. And then, in a moment of unbearable tension, Emirate dropped the spear. The ground shook more from the silence that followed than it ever could from thunder. "You are no brother of mine," he said, turning away. From that day, everything unraveled. Emirate moved Akiru to another homestead. She never left the compound again, not even to fetch water. Ekisumo stopped playing music. He buried the adungu beneath the tree where he first saw her. He walked alone, slept little, spoke even less. The villagers said Akiru had gone mad. She spoke to herself, laughed in the night. Some said she had been cursed. Others said she had been broken. One evening, just before the rains came, a child found the broken adungu, stringless, covered in dust. Next to it lay the bracelet, torn. Ekisumo was never seen again. Some say he went north. Others say he walked into the river and never came